Hello and welcome back to the channel. We're going to have a look at the machine on the right here for this video, which is Jackpot and the Beanstreak. I did see this layout was released a couple of months ago and it caught my eye, and I thought, oh, I'll do a video on that when I get the chance, and today is that day. Thank you very much to Vectra666 for this layout, because this is one of his. He's one of Fruit Machine Emulation's newer designers, and he's turned out quite a few layouts over the last 2 or 3 years, particularly for the newer versions of the emulator, and his DXs are very nice. So thank you to Vectra for this release, because I will be using it for this video. Don't know who did Real Good Time, which we've got over on the left here. There's no name on the sort of little strip at the top of the emulation. There's no notes embedded in it either, so I don't know who did Real Good Time, so I do apologise. Got it in my head it might be Tommy, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I'm not going to be playing Real Good Time in this video. I am just going to be playing Jackpot on the Beanstreak. Real Good Time is just kind of there as eye candy, really. So, on to Jackpot on the Beanstreak. This is a machine by a company called Extreme, and they did not last very long. Now, a lot of these companies, I know that they were all made of offshoots or former staff of other companies and that kind of thing, so I'm not entirely sure where Extreme came from, but they were a pretty short-lived entity. I've kind of got it in my head that they might have only existed for a period of time in the £25 era. Were they around at the back end of the £15 era? I'm not entirely sure they were, and I don't remember seeing any £35 machines with their logo on it either. Could be wrong, but for me they were very much a £25 Jackpot era company, and I really liked their stuff. They were quite, after the rechips, a gentle profile, and they were quite a pleasant machine to get involved with. Now, my understanding of the history on this is that when these Extremes first came out, they had a £100 streak in them. Now, quite how they did that, it could have just been a straight £100 repeater, and you can see there, incidentally, that the top Beanstreak feature up there adds up to exactly, if you add up all those values along there, it adds up to exactly £100. And as I understand it, they all had a £100 streak in them. However, a year or so down the line, they all got rechipped, and they took out the 100 and put it down to a £50 max, and I guess that is just to flatten the profile on them a little bit, because £100 jackpot, £100 streak, but as we know, the streak has always been the true jackpot, right going back to, the £4.80 era. We've all known that it's the streak which is the real jackpot. So a £100 streak is a pretty big amount for a £25 jackpot machine to save up for. I don't know whether they did it off their own bat or if, say, operators were requesting it from them. Either way, the history on these, to the best of my knowledge, is that they started out being £100 capable, and then that was chipped to £50 just to flatten them down a little bit and make them a little less crazy. Now, I never had, as far as I am aware, a £100 one of these. There were a few of them over here, and I also played a few of them in the UK because I tended to visit the UK far more often in the early 2000s. I was often over there on work-related training and stuff like that, so it wasn't unusual for me to be over in the UK. That meant passing through airports, it meant staying at hotels, going out to the pub, and of course hotels have often got, restaurants and bars associated with them which have fruit machines. So one way or another, I played quite a lot of Extreme machines, both on the Isle of Man and in the UK, and I don't remember ever having a £100 out of them, so it's quite possible I only ever played the £50 chips, or maybe I just got lucky on the £100 chips because I found them to be fairly gentle affairs. As long as they weren't completely on their arse when you started playing, you could generally force them out for a sane amount of money. You'd force them out for maybe 20, 25, 30 quid, sometimes less, usually not too much, and then if it was just 25 quid and then they went back to blocking at £5, no problem, you've got your money back, made a few quid, lost a few quid, it's not too bad. And if you get the repeat to 50, or if the next board is a jackpot, happy days, you've won 20, 25 quid. And I was always fairly happy to see one of these for that reason. You knew that you weren't going to lose your shirt. you knew that you could force them out without too much difficulty, and there was always the possibility of making a few quid as well. So I was always fairly pleased to see one of these in a location somewhere. I do remember very clearly going for a training course over at Reading in, I don't know what it would have been, 2005 maybe, something like that, staying at a hotel in Reading, and they had a bar restaurant attached to it. So after the first day of the course, what you're going to do, you're going to go to the bar immediately, of course, and saw that they had one of these. The Jackpot The Beanstreak was sat in the bar area, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, good. I can get a beer, I can have a go on the machine, I can relax, I know it's not going to do an absolute piece of work on me. And of course, I was very aware at that time that, of course, you know, there were players all over the place, so doable machines, particularly in UK locations that I didn't know, and I didn't know the flow of the machines. Chances are they'd have already been done, and you know, it could be a pretty tough proposition to play those. But in a hotel bar that was a little bit off the beaten track, I was very happy to find one of these, because I knew I'd probably be playing it for, you know, 15-20 minutes, and there'd be a decent chance that I'd win at the end of it. One thing that I will say about these is that they are absolute fuckers on the block. They have got a really solid block at £5, and they will block at a £5 for quite some time, and you'll know when they're doing it, because they'll let you do kind of anything and everything, be it on the cash trail, the feature trail, your cash pot up here, the super trail, keep giving you this little egg bonus, all kinds of stuff, you know, giving you extra life, taking it off you, but don't matter what you do, you're not getting through a £5. And I think they block again. Might be wrong on this. I think they block at 10 and 15 as well. But really, the main block to get through is a £5. Once you're through a £5, they're fairly linear to then climb out. And what I would always go for is whatever the top feature on the machine was. They were all quite similar. I mean, Jackpot The Beanstreak, I think, had an identical clone or two. Other extremes as well. They were all, to me, they were all pretty much of a muchness. They were £50 jackpot machines, effectively £25, and you'd hope that you'd get a repeat, and I didn't mind them. Like I say, I was always happy to see one of these. Now, I've got this one here. It should be, I'm hoping, you see my long-term stats here, I used the magnificence of autoplay earlier today to get just over £500 through it. As you can see there, autoplay actually did a reasonable job of taking stuff out of it as well. So it's ended up at 72.5% from a target of 84%, and it's £60 in the black. It's got £60 that it can give back to us as players to get back to its 84% target. So I am hoping here that A, the block's going to be off, and B, that we're going to get the £50 out of it as well. And then what we'll do is go on for a board after that, and we'll see how, once you've taken the value out of it, it is a really rigid £5 block, and it's going to take you a little while then to get through that again. So let's put some money in. We'll go to per session stats, and this would not be happening, by the way, if it weren't for autoplay, because this is a slow machine to play, particularly when it starts to get quite happy. It will constantly just throw things in, put three numbers on the win line, put you into the feature, just add numbers, fill the trail up, put you onto the feature. And because it likes to play all its music and sound for everything that happens, it can be quite a tough machine, as daft as it sounds. It can be quite a tough machine to actually lose money on quickly. So there's absolutely no way, with the best will in the world, that I would have sat here and lumped £500 through this manually. But what I actually did was just leave autoplay running for about 2.5 hours this morning. Got a decent set of settings. When I came back, it had managed to put over £500 through it. So once again, I mean, what a marvellous addition to the emulator autoplay is, because it does open up things like this that frankly I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Anyway, that's enough of my trademark rambling. I've nearly managed 10 minutes before anything's happened. That's nice. We're going in the right direction. I'm sure I've done more than that. So we'll put 6 quid in, and we'll just kick it off. Now, it did sometimes happen, of course, that you would just come to these and the block would be off straight away. If you got more than a £5 on the first board, you were happy, because you knew it was on the way. You knew it was going to be progressing up nicely, and that you wouldn't be waiting too long until you got your jackpot repeater or your top streak feature or whatever it may be. And I'm kind of hoping that this is where this one will be. because it does owe us, as the player, a fair few quid. I need one more cow to open up the super trail thing here. And by the way, it can open up the super trail. Oh, fucking higher than a 2-2-1. The fact it's opening up the super trail doesn't really mean anything in terms of how happy it is. It will let you kind of use the entire machine, as it were, even when the block's on. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no particular thing that means the block's off, other than it offering you more than a fiver. And I've got to be honest, I do not know if there's one of these features here, if it's just direct parity, so once you get above greed or whatever, I don't know if that's more than a £5 feature or whatever, but for me, I always just used it. It had to offer more than a fiver on there, or I could collect the cash pot when it was more than a fiver. Bloody hell. See, the cash pot was 5 there and it killed me. It's taken me extra life. I can't collect the cash pot yet because I've got to get one more fruit. But I always worked off a direct, yes, I could have definitely had, or it was definitely offering me more than a fiver. So, I mean, real blasts, I used to say could go. How many real blasts have we got? We've got 5, so 1, 2, 3. So you can see there, it's obviously not enough, and I need more real blasts than that to be able to know that I could shoot a jackpot. So now, you can see there, add fruit. That's now activated the cash pot, which, as you can see, having... Now, that should actually add a value to the cash pot, I think. Oh, there we are. So now, for me, that means the block's off, because it has now, by adding a fruit, it did just... Because once you've got the fruit matrix full, and it was on a fiver when it was full, once you add a fruit, it then actually adds cash to it. And it did go up. I could have collected it at £5.20 and then £5.40. Now, for me, that would mean that the block is off. So I would be quite happy at this point, because that says to me that, yeah, and you can see there, it's gone up past, happily gone up past a 5. Oh, that is actually going quite high now. That's good. Yeah. And you get these egg bonuses all the time, which are, let's take that there. I mean, I'm not sure if there is a way to do these, a particular thing that you're supposed to do. I wasn't aware of what it was. I've got to be honest with you, I was just a dumb forcer on these. That's all I ever did. I just forced them out. Sometimes, if they were looking really, really piggish, if you've got, because they should be, even when they're not in the best of moods, to my mind, they should be featuring fairly regularly. They should be putting you on the board. They should be offering you wins and giving you a half decent game, even when the block is on. I would walk for them. I would walk for them. I would walk from them. I would just walk away. If for about, I don't know, maybe £10 worth of credits, 10, 12 quid, if it was absolutely playing like a pig, if it just wasn't bored and if it just wasn't offering anything, I would sometimes then just collect what I could off a couple of features, you know, collect £3, £4 off a couple of features, something like that, and walk away. Because you could generally get, you know, maybe £5, £6 back for £10, £12 in, something like that. And sometimes I would just walk. Now, what's our best number on that? That's after the fucking blue 7, isn't it? There we are. That should put us in. So, and again, don't get too carried away when you see a mega start like this. It can do this to you when the block is on. I always just used to take these straight off. Oh, there we are. Cash has gone up to 7 quid, so that's fine. So we should now be climbing it out without too much trouble. And I was a bugger on these. I would just always try and get the top feature. What have I got? Back 3. I would always just try and get the top Beanstreak feature. Don't know if that was the correct thing to do either. You know, maybe a red £25 would have the same effect, because that would then come with a repeater. But I always liked to get the top Beanstreak feature, but I never had it go past 50 quid, even though we can see there it is clearly designed. Because if you add them all, because it goes from left to right, so obviously you always get the 5, 10, 10. And then if you get a repeat, oh, there we are, we can get, what can we get here? Oh, well, we can obviously add cash, can't I? So I can get that to, but the problem is, with it's not red, as far as I am aware, when it's not red, it's not a repeater. So, oh, there we are, I think we're going to get there, aren't we? High-low bone, well, it's going to have to... Not really much it can do to prevent it there, is there? So there we are, we have got Beanstreak, so I was rather hoping that it would be ready. So this is a gimme. You're going to get the first 25 here. Even though it does like to do that. It does like to make you use all the shots to get it. So we're definitely going to get this one. So there's our 25. Now then, it does not go in £25 blocks. It can give us a tenner here and then kill us on the 15. But let's... Oh, there we are. So we have got now 35. I would hope to get this. There we are. So there's our 50. And that, as best I can recall, and I did play a few of these. That's the best I ever got, was 50 quid. Let's see if we can get more out of this. Oh, dear. Oh, last shot, last shot, last shot. And... oh, there's the 50. Well, we tend to get the later chips that are released for the emulator. I would imagine that this is going to be on the later chips, because that's generally what are available in emulated layouts. As you know, there are a few old ROM sets knocking about, and they are the ones that tend to be coveted, certainly for videos like this, whereby the machine can do something, you can demonstrate something happening in the emulator that got chipped out, so that those ROM sets are quite rare and quite prized. I would imagine that this is actually one of the later £50 rechips. That is generally what happens, so we can definitely get onto the board here. But you'll know this when it's... oh, fucking hell, you just knew I was going to miss that, didn't you? You'll know... oh, there, that's going to put me in anyway. You know when the block's off. I mean, I would always... when the block's back on, rather. I would always go in for another board, even if it did 50 quid. I'd always go in for another board just to see what was happening. But I would imagine now that the block's going to be back on. Not least because that is most of the drift that we actually had in our favour there. So it's kind of given us most of the drift. So it's kind of back to percentage now, pretty much. But we'll have a go. Oh dear. Well, that was rather poor. I mean, some of these features are not bad. They can pay £3, £4, £5. I'm not entirely sure which, admittedly, but... well, let's get in this time. Let's not miss it. There we are. But bearing in mind that the last feature was pretty bad, so I would have kind of... so we can get a nearest one of a mystery. That's not particularly good, is it? I would probably now be looking to just collect like 3 quid off this now. So it has opened that up. Like I say, doesn't really count for much. It's always happy to open up that super trail. So I've got one kind of super shot thing there on the cash side. I'll see if I can get another bonus. But problem is, you're never far. It is very, very happy to use those mysteries to kill you without any warning whatsoever. Can I get all the fruits? I should probably... if there's any, there's not really as much we can really do there, is there? Oh, I guess I could have checked to see if the missing symbol was available there. I think I'm probably only a spin or two from getting killed here. So what I'll probably do, in fact, is... it's going to be at least 3 quid. So let's collect that. And I suspect this is probably going to be 243 quid. But, yeah, there we are. And there you go. That's just an extra 3 quid. So, better than collecting that when you know it's not going to go through the block. There's no point, really, trying to push it. I mean, let's see if we can get £3 off this board as well. I don't need to go nuts. So if I can get that up to 240, I'll collect it. Fill in the... oh dear, because it can do £2 block boards. I think that you can have boards on this where it won't go past 2 quid. That would be another sign, of course, by the way. That would be another one of them where you'd walk away if it was begrudgingly boarding and yet wasn't offering you, say, more than 2 quid on the board. That would be a, you know what, this is not worth forcing out. It's probably not going to go well. And you can see it can play pretty piggy. Now on a real one, I'd walk. I would walk at that point. So let's collect the 53. For the sake of this video, what I will do is just play it out to another board. Certainly on a real machine, that would be a great result. Because I've put 12 quid in and I've got 53 quid out. So that's a straight profit of 41 quid. That is a nice result, and that would have been one of the better results on one of these. I generally considered a goodish result to be, I don't know, 20, 25 in on the force, 15 to 25 in on the force, and you get a 50. That would be a really nice result. So this would definitely be at the higher end of good results. A £40 profit would be a very good result on one of these. Particularly if you're saying it's a non-100... Oh, I should have held the bars there. A non-100 capable... Oh, shit, I had a nudge there. A bit too premature nudulation. There, and you can see now it is playing like a bit of a cock. We'll play it out from the board. This would not be... on a real machine, I'd have walked with my £41 profit. But for the sake of the video, we will just see it out to another... We'll see it out to one more feature, and I think we're going to see quite clearly that the thing is blocking at £5, and it is quite funny when it's blocking at £5. I think the problem is the boards at the moment aren't prepared to go past even £2 or £3, but let's just see if we can get it up to the £5 block. And we'll just see, because it can get borderline comical. What's the best thing to go for there? We can get bonus, extra cash. The thing is, you can't actually high-low gamble on anything that you land on the board. So it's not like I can land on a +2 cash and then go lower than a 12. I can high-low, because I've got the super trail open, but in actual going round the board, you just press start and you land on what you land on. So I've got 4 real blasts. There's obviously not going to be more than a 5 there. We can afford to go high there. So let's take our golden egg bonus plus feature. We got some red features there. Oh dear. Oh god. Well, this is what I'm best at, isn't it? Crikey. There we are. Well done, Degsy. You hit one. Fucking hell. Okay, this is a little bit more like, see, when it's playing okay, but you're on the block. You can see that the cash pot is £6 there. So I'm predicting here that I'm not going to be opening up the cash pot, because if it opens it up now and I can collect it, it's more than a £5. So what have we got here? Back 3 for nudge. Oh dear, that's... Oh shit. Oh, come on, Degsy, you can do this. Oh, well done, son. That's a bit more like it. Can always hit the things when it doesn't, well, bloody matter. That's the thing. Right, okay, I don't think... Is there anything... Let's see if I can open up that cash pot. I need a treble bar. And, yeah, needless to say, the closest one is on the left reel. No, so I can't... Back 3 for 1 nudge. That's not much use to me either, really, is it? So 5 reel blasts. We can see there it can definitely keep me under a 5. It's going to have me, so I'm not going to get away with this for much longer. Oh, it's put the treble. I can't even see what the last symbol is that I need there. Is it a cherry? I think it might be a cherry. So if I can get a nudge here, I think that's a cherry. This is like quite dark there. If I can get a nudge, I think I can get it through the £5 block, which is obviously not going to happen. And there we are. So that board is a pretty good example of how the machine can kind of feel like it's playing okay. If you were kind of like a casual player, you would think, oh, that was pretty good there. That seems okay. I'll put a few more bob in. But you have to be aware it can give you a good amount of time on the board and give you what feels like a good game for your money, but it's never going to be offering you more than a £5. So that is kind of about it for... I've kind of covered a lot of machines there, because to me, all of the extremes were pretty much the same. I think they all had the same code base going on underneath, and as far as I'm aware, the whole kind of family was £100 capable, and they all got chipped to being £50 capable, which suggests that they all got done in about the same time and in about the same way. And these globals here, these were, now as far as I'm aware, these were always much more like £50 machines out the gate. I always had these pegged as just £50 machines. So in essence, they ended up that the globals and the extremes, even though the extremes started off being £100 machines, I think the globals pretty much always were £50 machines. So I kind of played them exactly the same. Oh, I should have got the bloody key there. I always played them pretty much exactly the same, to be honest with you. As long as they weren't playing absolutely dreadfully, it was just a question. Nothing too fancy, it was just a question of forcing them out. Way, there we go, there's a red board. Now that is an Invincible board. Now I kind of knew, I actually had a RAM and GAM file saved for this, whereby it was jackpot ready. So what I'm going to try and do here, let's see if we can get, how am I going to, what I need to do in fact. Just trying to think what I could do with doing is getting back on the lower board. But how am I going to do that when I can't actually die down here? Up here. Must be something I can do. The other thing with this is it's got a great soundtrack, this machine. It really does have. It's a little bit of a rip-off, in fact, in sound design terms. It's got a kind of Austin Powers-y, groovy theme going on. So it always kind of reminded me it's a little bit of a knockoff of Austin. It's like Austin Powers without the license, but you can tell what theme they were going for. Well, this is, by all accounts, this is just going to go straight for a Mega now, isn't it? It looks like I can't really avoid getting a Mega off this. Oh. Carry on. So, I think if I land on a red, yeah, I just need to land on a red now, and I'm going to have it. I think that is probably going to happen. If I can take a straight jackpot repeater off it, so let's have a look. Shall we have, let's have a jackpot repeater, if we can. So, I don't really want, fill the name, cash, let's go for Cashpot Plus. Because what I'd rather do, rather than get the Mega Streak, I'd rather go for... There we are, cash. What I'd rather do is fill the cash bottle. Oh, come on. Well, I suppose I could do it off this, couldn't I? Because I can't lose the gamble, so I'll just keep going for Cashpot Plus off this. That will eventually get... Oh, no, I could do it off bonus nudges, actually, couldn't I? Cashpot Plus will do us. There we are, and that is going to put it in failage. So let's have a look. What does it actually come off after? Let's try and get... Oh, is it random? Oh, I think it might be random. I'm just mindful of going around the board, because if I land on a red one, it's going to fill up the Mega Streak thing. And I think it all... I have a feeling it auto-collects if you get Mega Streak. And Mega Streak is kind of just... I'd rather get a jackpot repeater. So let's see if we can get that. Cashpot Plus, please. Cashpot Plus, where are you? There we are. Come on, that should be it, surely. Well, that's going to round up to 25 quid, isn't it? But let's just be absolutely sure that we'll get a straight defined £25 repeater in there. So let's just wait for the Cashpot Plus again. Where are you? And that is plus repeat chance. There we are. So that should now be a straight jackpot repeater. And if memory serves, this should be ready. Nice sound of music. I always liked the sound of music on this. It was a pretty good machine, this. Let's see if we can get a repeat. That would be nice. Oh, no repeat. I have a feeling that the next board on that, I think this is, as memory serves, I actually got myself this as a £50 RAM file. So, let's have a look. Let's see. We'll just play out this board for the sake of argument. Let's see if we can get a 50 out of it. It could be quite slow. I always had the feeling on this that they were kind of designing this up front. Let's do one there. If you have a look at the values on the board here, I think they were planning ahead for this to be a £5 jackpot machine, because Global were a little bit of a £5 company. A lot of their stuff, I think, went down to a £5 jackpot, or even started out as a £5 jackpot. And if you look at the values on the board round here, none of them are like more than £1. It's like it's almost £5 ready out the box, because you can see there the values up on the top board there. I think for a £25 jackpot machine are a little bit on the low side. Let's just see if we can get another key here to get us back in. That should be a key. How far away can that key be? Come on. So we'll take that. I would hope here that we've got another 25 quid in this. There we are. So that's now. The good thing about that is, if I get binned off the board, it's going to put me back onto the key, so I can have a gamble on the key as soon as. Now this was another one, by the way, that blocked at a £5. I've got it in my head that this one blocked at a £5 and 15. I am sure this was a 5 and a 15 block on this one, because it would block for a long time at Super. So once you got through the £1 block, it would block for a long time at Super Series here. They actually had one of these in a local pub, and it was on site for quite a while. It was on site for a fair few months, so I played it quite a lot, and I got fairly familiar with it. And obviously it was a fair few years ago now, but I remember it very, once you got through the £5 block, It would then block again at 15 quid, and you'd know very, very easily when it was doing it, because this cash pot here just would not go past 15 quid, and also it wouldn't go past Super Series, because Super Series could do 15 quid. I'm going to risk a higher there on that key, and that'll just put us straight back in, and let's just see if it's blocking at 15 quid or not. And you will know it when you see it, because it's going to be Super Series or 15 quid up here. Can I get another key? Because obviously 3 red keys is Invincible. Okay, doing okay. I mean, if it goes past 15 quid, from what I can... Oh dear. If it goes past 15 quid, you're basically there. So we've survived that. Oh, there we are. That should be it. It's gone past 15 quid. For me now, this should be a jackpot board. That says to me that the last block is off. The last block it had was at 15 quid. So we should be quids in now for another jackpot. Okay, well, I'm not gonna risk. Surely it wouldn't kill me. No, it wouldn't kill me now with 1920 of them. Okay, well, we'll take that gamble. And if this was the real thing, I would be saying, yeah, I don't think it'll kill me. I don't think it'll kill me. I'm sure that this is going to be a jackpot board. Come on. Oh dear. Oh, you absolute sack of shit. You know what? I'd be proper annoyed. I'm actually quite annoyed in the... right, well, obviously we're going to have this out now, aren't we? Fucking, is there any need for that? I mean, okay, yeah, it wasn't an Invincible board, fair enough, but the final block was off. The block through to the jackpot was off. So, oh shit, I could have slowed that down and got something better, not to worry. So that was harsh. That was really harsh. Let's get some extra keys going on. And there we are. And the first thing you want to do is high-low up the name here. And the thing is, what I can do, if I go lower than a 9 and lose, it'll actually put me back on the key. And the chances are, if you go lower than a 9 and lose, you're going to have a number that you can gamble on. So now I can just go lower than the 11, and it'll put me back on. So there's almost no reason not to gamble on this. Unless it does it to a really, really... That was a little bit... I wouldn't have actually taken that last gamble there, but you can see in principle there how you can... If you've gone up on a key, you can actually take some extra gambles up there, because it will throw you back onto the key. I will just take this out to another jackpot now, because I'm a little bit salty about it killing me there with £19.20, which of course would round up to 20 quid. So it's basically killed me on a £20 board here. So that should be a save, because if I lose that there, it's... Oh, I was on a bonus, I wasn't on a key. Sorry. Well, I can get an extra key here, it doesn't matter. Because once you fill the name up, basically all it does is double the amounts that you're putting in here. And the thing with that is... Hope I've got the volume loud enough there so you can hear that. That's got some quite funky sound on it, this thing. The other thing is, when you haven't got the name filled up, it really is slow to fill it up, because I think this is kind of done with so that they didn't have to change the decals or all the decals when it went to a £5 jackpot. I think what they did is... Don't you dare lose on that. So we could go high on the bonus. It might give me a slowdown for another key. Okay, I can hit this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, bollocks. Yeah, as I was saying, I think what they did so that it wasn't too arduous for them to convert this for a £5, they made all the values up on this top board here so that they'd work on a £5 jackpot machine. There should be a key up here, come on. So the only decals that they would have to change when going to a £5 jackpot, that'll give us a key, would be this cash panel here. Features could stay as they are, and then the top board could stay as they are, which is why I think you don't have values like £2 and £3 and £5, which would seem like they would be a better fit for a £25 jackpot machine. I think that was just them kind of saving cost and hassle to converting it for a £5 jackpot. But it does mean that even when you've got the doubler going on, the most that you can add in a single shot, as we've got there, is £2. So it can take a little while to fill this thing up, but it should go through 15 quid again now. We've gone through the block once, it should still be off. Come on. And I'm really pissed off if it kills me again. See there, 20, who wants to be adding, oh come on, that's, even with the double, that's 10p doubled, so we're adding 20p into our cash pot. We're through 15 quid, so this should be a jackpot board, come on. Let's not have that nonsense of getting killed off with a fucking £20 in the bank again. I can't slow that down. Well, let's do this, because that's a guaranteed 2 quid. And we can probably risk a lower on that, can we? Yeah, okay. So we know the block's off. Come on. Well, not really much I can do with that, is there? I suppose well, it's probably not going to give me the 3 red keys. Oh, dear. Oh, that won't kill me, it just puts me down to the bottom. I don't want to risk it on that. Now, this is going to be red. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Carry, you better fucking carry on, I'll tell you what, with fucking 23 quid plus repeat chance of it. Wait, can't kill now. Let's just, there's got to be a key. There's a key. Okay, that'll put me back up top. Right, this should be it now. This should be a jackpot. It would have been a lot easier if it had just repeated on the first one, wouldn't it? Fuck, 24 quid. 25 quid. Oh, God. Extra key. I've been caught out once before saying that, oh yeah, this is a jackpot board, so I'm not going to say... Oh, come on. I can't, it's actually... So I can get bonus nudges there. Now, the thing is, 24.50, that rounds up to 25. It can't pay 20, so I'm going to collect that and see what happens. I think that should round it up to 25 quid and then give me a jackpot repeater. Yeah, there we are. Okay, fine. I was just slightly concerned it might do 24.50, add it to the bank and then just say bonus win 50p. But we got the full jackpot sound and light show. Be surprised if this repeats now. Because, yeah, of course, they were always, for me, they were a £50. So it did it in a slightly irritating way there. And did it on 2 boards. I would have much rather that we'd had a repeat on the jackpot. So, kind of. I wasn't intending to play real good time in this video, but I got round to it. But did it anyway. So, these for me, the globals and the extremes, I treated them the same. Even though I am aware that the extremes started off differently. Because they started off being £100 capable and finished off on 50, whereas the globals, and I could be mistaken, the globals for me were just always 50. Oh shit, I should have held them. Were just always £50 machines, and I like both. If I saw the global logo or I saw the extreme logo, if I saw one of these machines anywhere, I was usually pretty happy because I knew that I was going to have a little bit of playtime. That's the other thing. Sometimes you just want a bit of play, don't you? You just, if you're getting a beer, particularly on when I'm away on a training course or something like that, if you're out by yourself, if you're not in, ruthless money-making mode, sometimes you just want to have a beer and you want to have a play, or if you're at an airport or something like that, you might just want to pass some time with the chance of winning a few quid. So these were great for that because you could get a decent little run for your money and win a few bob as well with reasonable frequency. Now, the only reason I'm playing on for another board here is I'm guessing we're going to see that the £5 block is on here. Let's see how far it lets us go, but I would be really amazed here if the £5 block is off. So we'll do our best to get it up through a 5. Oh dear. So carry on. I mean, anytime it goes through a 5, you can really carry on, but do be aware that you're going to hit the second block at 15 quid. So this is going to bin me down here. I'm sure that this is going to bin me down now. There we go. And I think if I gamble on that, I suspect I'm going to lose on that key. I don't think it'll put me back up. Yeah, because it's not going to let me get through a 5. It is blocking at a 5 now. It's definitely blocking at a 5 again. And it'll take a little while for that block to come off again because it's done the 50. That was the other thing. But if they did a 25... my experience, the block came off fairly sharpish. Once they'd done the 50, the block was going to stay on for a bit longer. So there you go. That's the extremes and the globals. Two kind of sides of the same coin, even though I believe they were different companies. It's entirely possible Extreme had some ex-global staff or something like that. I really don't know. But that is it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed watching it. And indeed, thank you for watching. And I will catch up with you next time. But for now, goodbye.